What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. As you guys saw in the last one, we were working on the SI. This is a continuation still from that. Wasn't meant to be a multiple part video, but it ended up being, so whatever. But we had a little issue that we ran into with the wheel stud when I was trying to take the tire off, the wheel and tire off when I was trying to do the fender liner. So, which I got all that done, all that stuff, but the stud broke off on the wheel, which pissed me off because the tire shops are dumb, like I said before. Anyways, got the new, I said if I'm going to be doing it right, like taking it all apart, I'm going to do it right from the get-go. So I went down to the parts store, I got some studs, and then I'm like, you know what, forget that. I'm not going to just do the studs, because to get the studs off, you got to pull the actual hub assembly off, which is pressed into the bearing. And I'm like, if I do all that, I might as well just put a new bearing. The car's got almost 200,000 miles. Let's just do it right, do it once, and then I'm done. I know I'm only doing one side, which I'll eventually get to the other side, but neither of them were making noise or grinding or anything like that. So it's doing pretty good for how many miles are on it. But yeah, we just picked that up from this shop here in town where I live. They have a big press, took them, you know, no time at all to do it for me. Yeah, so let's get that out of the car. I'll show it to you guys real quick what it looks like. It looks cherry, and we'll get working on it. Okay guys, we're back at the house. We picked up that part that you saw, or that I was talking about the other day. Here it is here. Like I just said earlier, I got the entire hub pressed on to the steering knuckle and everything. So this is brand new, and then the bearing inside's brand new. We had only broke one off, but it was I just figured they're gonna have to pull it apart. You have to pull it out of the bearing anyways. It's 200,000 miles, like I said, so I figured I'd just do the whole thing. So you can see on the back, got a brand new bearing in there, ready to go. Ball joint's still in good shape. I did get, when I was taking it all apart, I noticed that the tie rod end was toast. The boot is completely ripped open right there. So I got a brand new one of those. I'll show you how to do that. It's very simple. Hopefully the alignment will still be solid by the time I'm done. Really all you do is make sure that this doesn't move and count how many times you turn this off when you're taking it off and put it back on exactly how it came off. So yeah, we're gonna get all this back together. There's other things I'd like to do, like I'd like to repaint the caliper. The paint's coming off, but we'll do that later once we get wheels, and we'll go from there. So let's do it. Alright guys, well, we got the hub back on, axle nuts on, not tightened to spec. We got the two bolts that hold the shock tower back in as well, obviously not torqued down or tight. Just kind of getting everything in there and tight. The only thing I gotta still do is put these bottom ones on. Right there on your lower ball joint to your control arm. There's a nut that goes through one, and a bolt on one, and then two nuts that go 1, 2 right there, and that's it. I didn't touch anything else. I just changed the tie rod out, which that's looking cherry, so I got to put the cotter pin back in, and I got to torque that, then put the cotter pin. This is tight. I did count how many turns like you're supposed to. I tried to keep this in the same exact place, but I don't know if this is just the way it's built is a hair longer, but I had to back this nut off just a hair to get it back to the exact amount of turns that I did to take it off. So we're probably going to need an alignment. It'll probably be just fine for now, you know, until I can get over there. So other than that, we're going to get all these things torqued back down. We'll get the brakes back on. Like I said, I'd love to repaint the calipers. I just don't have time right now. Paint's coming off. So we'll deal with that probably later in a little while once we get wheels and tires. I do plan on getting wheels and tires hopefully sooner than later. So yeah, everything went pretty smooth. That was a little tough to get off because it's stock original, and I needed had to use the mallet on it a little bit and hammer down on it. But yeah, worked out pretty good. So we're gonna get all this stuff bolted back up tight and then torqued, and we'll be done with this anyways. Then we can move on to all the other stuff, explain in just a minute. But yeah, let's tighten all this stuff down and go for it. Figured I'd give you guys some real-time video as I'm doing it. I know I do a lot of time-lapse, but I can kind of explain it a little bit. I got the wheel speed sensor, I believe, or the ABS sensor, I'm not really sure. Might be in both, might be one in both. Not really sure, but it's one of the two. That goes right behind your shield, and it's got a little, I believe, a 10 mil that holds it on. So I just crank down the shock bolts while I tighten this up. Shock bolts are tight. The 3 bottom, two nuts, 1 bolt for the bottom ball joint are tight. That's all done, ready to go. I just need to tighten this real quick with a 10 right here. Do this guy by hand. You do not want to crank on this. That is not ideal. And honestly, just a little pressure will do it. That thing ain't going nowhere. You can stick this back in, your little shock tower thing to hold that in. My clip's broken, but I'm doing it anyways. It's better than nothing. So now we're going to crank this axle bolt down here just to get it cranked, and then we're going to do torque spec on it. I got a list of all the torque specs over there on my phone. So I'll put this on here, hammer that a couple times. This is only a 3/8 impact, so I know it's not going to get it, but it definitely gets it snug. All right, so go back through everything. Tie rod's tight, put that back on. You got 2 bolts for your shock tower on, ABS sensor back on, 3 bolts on the bottom for the bottom ball joint on, axle nut on. The only thing we got to put back on is the brake rotor and caliper and all that stuff. But that should be it. So, but yeah, guys, that's really all it is. I mean, it's really not that bad. Got a fresh unit. Got the skunk twos that are in a video from a long time ago. They have done me well, but I will say probably about time to upgrade to something, maybe some actual coils. These were the sport shocks with the sport springs, lowering springs. So good little setup to start with if you guys are on a budget. I did some canyon runs in them, and they are impressive. They do well. It lowers your car a nice little bit, nothing crazy, but yeah, it helps out a lot. So there's all that done. You got your hub done. Got the 3 bolts down there on. Axle's in nice and good. Got these 2 bolts on. So let's go over and get the torque wrench and the list, and we'll do that and get everything finished up and get the brake caliper back on. All right, guys, I was about to put the brakes back on, but obviously don't ever forget to go ahead and spray everything off with some brake clean and do all that, because you don't want to put it back on there if it's off and everything. You might as well clean it, right? Make it right. So we're just gonna grab some, whoa, I just hit my header. By the way, that's going back on the SI soon. Brake clean, boom, right there. Oh, nice, that one's almost empty. I just bought this one right here. And I also, every time, I always buy those stupid little like packets of brake caliper grease, and then I never have any left over for the next time. So I went ahead and spent, this was 20 bucks, but dude, this is gonna last me for years. So literally never have to buy it ever again, and I can do every brake job that I ever need to do. So, and don't ever forget to grease your slide pins and your on the inside of the calipers where the little metal sliders are, where your pads slide on. Never want to forget that. So I'm gonna get these tools moved out of the way so we can spray this off with some brake clean. Alright guys, well, the whole passenger side rebuild is done. Everything's tightened up, good to go. Brake cleaned everything. All bolted down, everything's tight. So, cherry. Wasn't that bad, guys. Honestly, it wasn't that bad. General Tools will get the job done. Next thing, we're going to get right into it. We're going to put this bumper back on. We're going to clear the headlights, do engine clean, and then the car will be good for a while. Plenty more to do on it, but that's all we're going to do for this video. So let's go ahead and get this bumper back on. We'll get our little breather filter back on, do our engine bay detail, clean our headlights real quick, and we will call it good. All right, guys, so we are going to just do a little quick clear on the headlights on the Civic. Yeah, so let's just get these all cleared up. I've got a little kit right here, kind of using a mix of like this kit, the Turtle Wax kit, plus I had this other one, this 3M one that was sweet off the drill. So I'm kind of just, this is all I have left. So it'll work though, we'll get it done. Let's do it. All right, so we just finished up clearing the headlights. They are a lot better. It's not 100%, but it was just a quick job to get them cleared up because they were really, really bad. Looks a lot better. There's still a little haze on them, but I was kind of working with what I had left. That's what we're working with, so whatever. Good enough. Now we're gonna go into the engine bay and clean that all up and get the intake back on, spray everything down with the cleaner, and then we'll kind of scrub it and get it all shined up and put the bumper back on, and which is over there. We'll get the lights hooked up that we now have working. So our little coolant reservoir was empty, so figured I'd put some back in that before we put it back in here to wash everything. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll drop it in there. No big deal. Oh boy, that came out fast. That's a good thing we're cleaning the engine bay. So if you see, there's a minimum line and a maximum line. So I like to go in between, because if you're at max, sometimes it just could potentially overflow. So we got that done. All right, we'll put this back in here. Our lid is right here. See, got your hose that goes in there. All right, put that in. There's a little clamp down here. Just like that, sits just like that. So before I put my intake tube back on, I got this stuff. It's always good to do it every once in a while. Throttle body and air intake cleaner. If you guys look in there, it is black. You can see where I wiped my finger. That's what it's supposed to look like. The rest of it is black. So we're just gonna, you just spray it in there. You just spray your bottle in there and then wipe it out. Because these are electronic throttle bodies, so you can't just go in there and push it open. It might mess up the settings on it. So you just kind of have to clean around it and wipe. And we got the headlights done, we got the engine bay clean, we got the hub back on, new bearing, new studs, new hub assembly, new tie rod, everything's done. All we had to do, we got the fog lights working. We need to put the bumper on, but I'm gonna try to JB weld this tab on, and then I also need to let that dry, and then I'm also gonna JB weld the edge of the bumper, and I'll show you really quick, right here. So this hole is done. If you can see that, it's broken open. So I'm gonna try to JB weld and just make a solid here, and then I'm gonna drill a new hole. So hopefully that will last. I don't know how long it will last. It's just temporary, but we'll see. So hopefully that'll work and we can have that be good. And I'll probably put some fat washers on the bottom and the top and really sandwich it down with a bolt. So we're gonna finish that up, and then we'll be all good. That's it. I mean, check the engine bay out. Looks real good. And got it all clean. Nice and cherry. All I have to do is I have a detailer spray that I put on to make all the plastics like shiny and stuff like that. But overall, all it is a can of engine degreaser. Freaking O'Reilly's stuff works great, but it gets all the grime off. I have little detailing brushes I got in like the bolts and stuff like that, and just cleaned it out. But yeah, guys, I think we're gonna call it there on this video. But that was a lot and it packed into one video. But the SI needed some serious work, and it was been on jack stands for like a month now. So, but yeah, so that's it. We're gonna call it here. Till the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button. So until next time, peace.